Okay, right? If I record this so that we can share it with your friends also, they would understand what we are talking about, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, one more person joined. All right. So yeah, so what I was saying is that I would again write it on the board. So we have Windows, then we have Linux, then we have Mac OS. These are famous operating systems. Yeah. And
Hmm.
Windows is mainly used in home laptops or office laptops. They have servers also, but Linux is mainly used in servers. Like big servers used in industries. This is a industrial operating system mainly, but people use it on desktop also. Very few people use. And Mac OS, we all know that it is a Apple product, right? So uh, so mainly Linux is used for servers. And as I said that most of the servers are running on Linux in today's industries. It's not that Windows doesn't have a share of servers; they also have share of servers. Okay, uh, but as I said, like your Android, for example, it runs on Linux only. Yeah. Then you have DevOps. You might have heard about DevOps also, right? So DevOps is something which is very hot technology in today's market. So that also runs on Linux mainly. Then you have AI/ML, that is artificial intelligence and machine language. This also runs on Linux mainly. Then you have cyber security. So these are the applications of Linux, and this is very hot skill in the market, DevOps. So many people, and then you have cloud technologies, right? You might have heard about cloud also, AWS, then Azure, then GCP. So all these things mainly run on Linux. On cloud, actually, when I say runs on Linux, I'm talking about backend operating system. Okay, front end could be anything, but backend means what? The thing like we hear songs, right? So in that case, we see playback singing, right? So on a screen, we see some actor over there, but in the background, some singer is singing. Actually, we feel that that actor is singing. So you can say this is kind of a playback. Okay, backend is equal to playback. So this doesn't come into picture very I mean easily in the front. So many things you see on a front, we believe that they are the real things, but these backend players are very important. So our Linux is actually a backend operating system. So whatever you see running, that mostly runs on Linux. Like websites and apps. Then I mentioned that our famous Android phone itself runs on Linux operating system. I mean, many people doesn't know about this. That Android also runs on Linux. Android. So how would this help students? Right? Is the question. Why learn Linux? So now we all know that IT industry is a booming industry, and it will always be like that. Why? Because this is a technology world, right? Technology world. So technology world will always require IT, that is information technology. So information technology is actually required for progress of the world, right? So that's the reason IT industry will always boom, okay, in future also. And if you want to build your career in IT, then what is the easiest way? So I would say you have two options, okay. As a student, I mean, at the moment you might have done your 10th or 12th, or maybe you are a fresh graduate or something like that. But the door to IT, I call it as a door to IT. Why I say Linux? It's not because I love it. Of course I love it, but the fact is, as I mentioned before, so if you learn, for example, Linux, and you work as Linux administrator in IT, you enter as a Linux administrator. Okay, it may be a level 1 initially, level 1. Then you can develop onto this Linux another skills, like I said, AWS, Azure, GCP. Then onto this, again you can learn DevOps. As I said, DevOps is very hot in today's market. You can go on a Naukri.com and search for Linux, AWS, Azure, GCP, and DevOps. So you will find lot of opportunities on Naukri.com, right? Why? Because these are hot skills today. All right. So why I call these mainly Linux as a door of IT, because this is a base. Okay. So you will first learn the base. You will develop the base. Then onto that you will develop this AWS, Azure, GCP, and then you can develop DevOps on it. And then additionally you can do cyber security also. As I mentioned, cyber security, that is also very hot in market, right? So this is how you can enter into IT, right? So my plan is to teach you Linux from the scratch, so that even if you don't know anything about Linux, you will be knowing, what Linux is, how to install it, how to operate it, and how to run commands, how to maintain it, how to manage it. All those things I would teach you from the scratch. Even if you do not have any background in Linux, that's not the problem. Okay. So this is a door of IT. All right. Now, if suppose you learn Linux, okay, especially for students, I would recommend, don't stop here. Okay. So first you complete my course. Okay. Then I would be having AWS and Azure and GCP kind of stuffs also lined up. So what my plan is to completely build up a team wherein they would be having all these three skills. Okay. And these three skills, with these three skills, if they go into IT, I don't think that next at least 15 to 15 years, minimum, I am saying, it may be more than that, these skills are going to die. But this is not my claim, a disclaimer over here, that I do not know what is going to happen tomorrow. But as per the trend going into the market, you can see why cloud. This is called as cloud, right? AWS, Azure, and GCP. Why cloud is famous and why it is required. Why DevOps is famous. So I would explain cloud and DevOps in a nutshell, so you will understand why we should learn Linux and why should we go for cloud and DevOps afterwards, right? So let's say what cloud is. Cloud cloud is nothing but taking anything, like you take things on rent, for example, right? Some people who cannot afford treadmill at home, they go to gym and they use treadmill over there. Okay. So this is a classic example I give to understand what cloud is. Cloud is nothing but taking things on rent. What used to happen before, that people used to buy servers. Okay. And those servers used to be very expensive, and they have to pay, they used to pay a heavy amount for these servers, and these servers used not to be fully utilized. And then what used to happen, that used to be a overhead of a cost for the company, who used to own those servers. So what uh, that time what used to happen, that they used to lose lot of money, only when when during a season, let's say some e-commerce website is there, then some season comes, right? Festival seasons and all. So that time they used to earn only, and otherwise these servers used to sit idle. That was the overhead of the cost for the company. So that is why this cloud came into market. Why cloud? Because cloud actually do not ask you to buy, they give you on rent. Like they give you on a pay as you go basis. Pay as you go basis. Okay. So pay as you go basis means what? That whenever you use, you pay that much only. If you let's say use one server, or let's say in an industrial term 100 servers, then you pay for only 100 servers. Okay. But if you want in future that I don't want 50 servers, so you can reduce 50 servers and you pay only for 50 servers. So this is how cloud actually became famous. Why you see cloud everywhere? Because you get a flexibility to use cloud this way, so that you can save on a cost as well as resources. Basically, it's like you are running your own car. Okay, your own car you're running, and you are actually sharing it like Ola and all. So this actually saves fuel also, and energy, and lot of traffic hazards and all that kind of things also are saved, right? So in cloud, what happens that when you use cloud actually saves you from other hassles also. People used to have their own data centers. Data center is nothing but where our servers lie. Okay, our servers are installed, that is called as data servers. So people used to have their own data centers previously, and there used to be a cost associated to that. So now we have Amazon, let's say they have their data centers. So it's like their data centers we are using, we don't have to own these now. Okay. So Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they have their own data centers, right? So this is how actually cost is getting reduced. At the same time, environmental issues also are getting solved, because running so many cars will increase traffic and pollution and things like that, right? Likewise, running many data centers also is hazardous for environment with respect to the utilization of the resources and all. If it is clubbed together in some place, then that is always beneficial, instead of running individual data centers at home. So that is how actually this cloud is designed, right? So now let's talk about DevOps. What DevOps is? So DevOps is another technology which is used in software development field. Okay, software development field. Software development field, that means programmers and developers kind of, right? So what used to happen? We used to have a development team before, and we used to have a operations team. So these two people used to be separate entities that day. I mean, the previous days, right? So what used to happen? These people used not to have a proper synchronization, or I mean other issues, like development people used to say it's a operations team problem. Operation people used to say it's a development team problem. So what used to happen, that issue used to be hanging in between. I mean, many times there used to be a delay in delivery of the services, I mean software and things like that. So actually this term came into market, which is called as DevOps. You can see development and operations. So they have clubbed it together, saying that this is a DevOps, like development team and operations team, they came together and they are called as DevOps. So this is what is DevOps today. So what it does, the developer will know how to operate, operator will know how to develop. So it is like you are running a car and you don't know how to repair it, right? So what will happen, that if suppose it strucks in a ghat or something like that, and there is no mechanic, then you won't even be able to do first aid also, right? So likewise, in this case, if developer knows how to operate, so he don't have to depend. I mean, he or she doesn't have to depend on operations team. Okay, so he can do whatever is required from operations end. And operations team, if they also know bit of developing, so they would also work together. That is the actually main reason why this DevOps came into picture. I mean, this has increased productivity a lot. That is why companies are going for DevOps today. You see why it is hot, because of clubbing together these two teams, and production increase because of that. You can see, right? For example, you are running a car and your car is not working. It got stuck in a ghat or some area wherein mechanics and garage and things like that are not nearby. So what will happen? You will call a mechanic, right? So mechanic will take his own sweet time to come to the site. He will come, then he will look into the matter, and then he will decide what to do. If the part is a problem, then he will go back to garage again. That is a time consuming thing, right? If suppose you know how this mechanic works, if you know the work of mechanic, then what will you do? You will reduce primary function of mechanic, wherein you will look into the car yourself primarily, and you may come to know what is wrong, and you may fix it on the spot also. And if you at all have to go to garage, then you can go to garage directly, so reducing this mechanic time, for example, in between. So this is how actually development and operations, if developer knows how to operate, then it will directly go to it will directly do whatever is required for operations. Obviously, operations will have high uh, skilled things also. Like in this case, the car driver will not be able to repair the car completely. Okay, he would require mechanic at this at some point of time, right? But at least he will do some first aid until he can go to the mechanic, for example. So here also, developer will not be knowing all operations tasks, and operations team people also will not know all development tasks, but they would be at least knowing something, like first aid we call, right? So at least they would do something before other team is called. So this would actually reduce the time of production, and benefit the companies. So this is why I call these three things equally, as mainly Linux is a door of IT. When you go into the IT, then you can develop cloud and DevOps. So it is like this, when first Linux, then let's say cloud, and then DevOps. So this is how you can develop your career, right? Yes. So any question, Nisha, Ryan?
No, sir, understood.
Understood, right? Right.
So,
So basically,
Yeah.
now what is my role? I would be developing you on this Linux part initially. Okay. I teach in a simple language, like Rancho of Three Idiots, right? What he says, that what is machine? Machine is anything which uses human effort, right? Which serves the purpose of a definition of machine. We don't have to go into complicated way to understand what machine is, right? So same way I say Linux is like a railway platform. Railway platform. What does this mean? This means this means that Linux is like a railway platform, wherein applications in on platform you go, you see trains, right? So on Linux, applications run. So I call these apps as trains, like our normal trains. So platform is Linux, Microsoft, Mac OS. All these are platforms. So okay, on which things run. What we call platform as something on which things run, right? So Linux, Microsoft, and Mac OS are actually famous platforms today. All right. So like apps on Linux, apps run. Okay, like that. Likewise, on railway platforms, you see trains run, right? So this is how actually I simplify things to understand. If suppose someone doesn't know what operating system is, and together this is called as operating system. This platform is operating system. So students can easily understand what I am talking about, and other people who are not from Linux background, they would also understand what I am talking about. I mean, we have students from non-IT background as well, so they did not have a IT background at all. So I have actually taught them in this language. So now after some classes, they are able to run their own Linux commands. That is how things are actually going. So my purpose of these classes is that to give people a direction to get into IT. So many people don't know how to enter in IT. So I'm not just telling you that go this way. I'm not just telling. Okay, I'm not just telling you or showing you go this way. I'm actually taking you with me. Okay, taking you with me to on this journey. So what does this mean? This means that I'm showing, for example, I'm telling you, okay, someone asks me some address, for example, I tell him that go straight, then right, then left, then take another straight, that kind of thing. But what I am trying to, if that person comes with you, for example, and then you will be able to properly, you will be able to reach destination. At times addresses are quite complicated, right? So likewise, I'm not just telling you that go do Linux and then develop your AIX and then DevOps kind of, sorry, Linux and develop your AWS and then DevOps. I'm not saying like this. I would actually take you on the journey of these three things. Okay. So first we will learn Linux, and if you are interested, I would take you to the cloud journey also. And again, if you are interested, then I would take you to DevOps journey. So this is how you will be developing yourself. And another thing is that practice. We know that in maths, what they say, maths is just about practice. If you do practice, things will happen. And this is not a difficult subject like maths also. You know, maths is also not difficult, I would say. Uh, thing is that you know I don't say that all teachers, but some teachers make things complicated. We are very fortunate enough to have good teachers also, who have actually made things easier for us, and we do remember them always, right? But some teachers actually make things difficult, and that is how that subject actually it looks difficult to us, right? So likewise, there are many people who make Linux difficult to understand, to study, but my mission is that make Linux as easy as possible, so that people will pick up on this, and then they can get into the door of IT. So when you enter into this door of IT, then as I said, you can develop on other stuffs like cloud, DevOps, cyber security, whatever. So this is how you can get into IT. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please ask. All right. So okay. Yeah, if you want to register for this class, then my number is 9920 785 750. You can write it down. You can contact me on this number or WhatsApp. Yeah, for more information. Okay. Thank you, guys. You have a nice time, nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.